Hello there. I got up, I made it to the gym, went to brunch, arranged some flowers. It's a beautiful, let's see if we can, get you up and Adam. Lovely little orange rose at the top. So cute. So I think it was the other week in the video where I had done the values exercise and kind of saying, well, these are the 5 things that are like most important to me. What could this really look like? Like, there's room here. Like, there's room for this to be something or look like something completely different. So, okay, what do you do with that?
Hello, and welcome to How to Lose Your Job in 90 Days, a series hosted by me, Melanie, a 40-year-old set to lose my advertising job at the end of March due to layoffs. So, while I'm here thinking about work, of course, but also life and really the future in general, we're well into February, which means we are cruising through the second month of this 3-month journey, and well, some cracks are starting to show. Let's just say that. So, if you're looking for your corner or a corner of YouTube with more questions than answers about navigating life, I think you found your place.
So, I think it's gorgeous. It's like 75 and sunny. I think I'm gonna go to the park and do a little brainstorming and thinking about that. What exactly, if I took the guardrails off, if I took the limitations off, what could this possibly look like? Like, what would an ideal scenario be? I was playing around with Claude. Don't get me started on my thoughts on AI, but I find it helpful for like this ideation, like brainstorming stuff. So I was asking it for frameworks or models for navigating or considering like a career transition. And then I also proposed this Odyssey exercise where you kind of journal 3 different career paths. Well, in this case, it's about career. But I think it will start to meld into life too. I think it's a coming together of those things, honestly, in it being kind of like an exercise of like imagination and like envisioning and like senses, and what does that feel like. So I think that will be, I don't know, I hope it will be helpful, but I think it will be interesting to like explore those different paths, and one of which could be something that is kind of very traditional or close to what I've been doing, and seeing how I write about that and like what I imagine that feeling like, and how does it kind of feel in my body as I'm imagining that scenario. I think that will be insightful. So yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. So first I'm gonna get showered, get myself together, and then we'll head to the park. Why the sunglasses, you might ask, or didn't ask and don't really care, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. While I was walking to the park, someone gave me one of the best compliments you can give to a person, which is, he said, "Ah, I love your glasses and you just look so cool." What? Excuse me. The writing activity, the little brainstorming, was cool. I want to sit with it for a little, like maybe a night. But it was really nice to be in the park and to kind of do a little breathing, take a minute, and just like lose myself in my imagination, which I don't think we as adults get a ton of opportunities to do or play with. And so it was kind of fun to get a little creative, a little dreamy, a little, what could this potential path look like? Which one am I feeling? So I just want to kind of digest that a little bit more before I share. But I did decide to do, because I did crack this bad boy open at the park, which I haven't read yet. I know it's like I'm behind. What else is new? But given where we are personally, societally, as a nation, I feel like I need something with a little more feminine rage, something that's not got fish printed on it. I need something with a little bit of anger. So I'm gonna take my ass back to the bookstore where I got this less than a week ago and look for something else to dive into for the time being to match my dark energy, which honestly I love. Like, I'm happy to sit in this. We were at the park yesterday. Um, Almost 100% sure you'll be able to hear the child crying. I have no idea whose child it is. I have no idea where they're at. It's not mine. I'm not neglecting a baby somewhere. So if you can hear it, apologies. I assume it's a family out for a walk. I have the windows and the doors open because it's actually really nice despite this. I'm not sure why. I just kind of wanted to be cozy. And finally decided not to wear all black, so it's an improvement. There's a bit of color here, a bit of color here, even a little bit there. So I'm just gonna roll with it, even here. But anyway, I have the windows and doors open, and again, it is just a cacophony of sounds and noises. So hopefully I can edit them out, and hopefully you can't hear them too much. And if you can hear them, welcome to urban living. And I actually like to do my writing like when it's really like kind of flow writing, or I don't know, there's a real name for that, but like basically not structured, just like scattered thoughts, brainstorming. I like to do it in a sketch pad, like a pretty big sketch pad. I just like that there's no lines. I like that it's just a blank, literally and figuratively, a blank sheet, a blank page, and can really just like be free in writing things down, drawing things, crossing things out, not feeling like my ideas need to be like fully formed or polished. Like, this is a place to just like see what sticks. So this is what I took with me to the park, and then write about 3 different kind of career paths or scenarios. And one thing that happened, which was pretty interesting, is that like 2 of the 3, I really could have continued writing. Like, the writing is so much longer than for like, in this example, like all of this purple text is the first path, and then this was my second. So like you can see, like I stopped halfway through. I was just like, this isn't it. So that was kind of telling. And then when I went to the third, all of this purple writing was the third path. So it was kind of apparent in just like my excitement to want to kind of keep writing and what was coming to me as I was really starting to think about those 2 pathways. So that was something I didn't anticipate happening. It's kind of just like halfway through the second one, I was like, I didn't want to do this, so I'm just gonna stop. So that's telling. So we were, so weird to say we, like it's a real person. It's not a person. Life is so weird right now. Anyway, but my friend Claude and I were chit-chatting about
like prompts or questions that I could think about when doing the writing for these three pathways. And so some of them I took, some of them I didn't, and I just kind of like went with my own, but it was helpful to kind of see where it was suggesting I take it and kind of build off of that. So what does a typical Tuesday or day in the life look like? What kinds of problems am I solving? What am I learning about? Who am I interacting with throughout the day? What do those interactions feel like? Where am I physically? What kind of does my workspace look like? What does my environment look like? Really interesting questions to kind of set the scene, because this is supposed to be like sensory based, imaginative, like a vision of what this could be like. Not super practical or tactical at this point, but just trying to elicit an emotional response, whether that's like being bored or being really excited, or yeah, like what do I feel when I'm imagining these different possible career paths and like lives. So the first one I picked was I have always had this like dream of owning a bed and breakfast. It actually started, I think, oh my gosh, was it 10 years ago when I was 30? I that was the first time I really kind of had a huge career transition and like quit my corporate job. I had been with a company for, God, I don't know, maybe 5, 6 years. And I just kind of felt stagnant. And so I decided to quit my job and to take a self-funded sabbatical. And I went to Italy for like 5 or 6 weeks. That was really my first kind of hard career pivot slash just like ending. And for a handful of those weeks, either 3 or 4 of those weeks, I was staying at this really so precious to me, charming and magical olive oil farm outside of Lucca, Italy, which is in Tuscany in between kind of Pisa and Florence. And it was just owned by this couple who were, around my same age. I think they might have been just a few years older than me, so maybe in their early 30s. It was so precious. It wasn't like a formal bed and breakfast, but it was a farmhouse that had, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 bedrooms. And every morning we would have like a house breakfast out in kind of the terrace so you could meet the other guests. I was traveling alone. So it was just such a beautiful environment with like real connection to the town, connection with the owners, connection with the other guests, connections with nature. Like it was just such a life-changing few weeks for me. And so I think that experience has always lived in the back of my mind, and I think is really where this idea or this dream of owning a bed and breakfast kind of comes from. I'm someone who likes to travel. I like to travel for extended periods of time. I like to do it by myself. I like to, actually connect with the places I'm traveling to. I'm not really just interested in the like top line superficial like quick hits that you would find in like a New York Times, clickbait or on Instagram. Like that's not for me. Like I want to know a place. I want to know the people. I want to know I want to feel it. Like I want it to be a tangible, real experience that moves me. And hopefully I give something back to the people and the places that I meet. So I think being kind of the owner of a bed and breakfast and curating that environment is very, very attractive to me. It's something that has just been kind of in the back of my mind as like a dream scenario for one day out there in the future. So I wanted to spend some time writing about that. So that was the first one that I did and wrote quite a bit about. And I'm going to talk about some of the like overlaps in the themes. But that felt really good. The second one that I brought up or, played around with, but kind of just stopped short in the middle of it, was like, fuck this, I'm not doing it, was being a writer. I just enjoy writing, and I would like to think I'm somewhat decent at it. But when I started going through the writing like pathway or, like life, I stopped and it felt very isolating. It felt very lonely. It felt very insular. And so it just didn't have the same, it didn't like light me up in the same way. It didn't make me feel alive. It felt like it's something, writing is something that I could do no matter what. But it doesn't need to be like my path. A third one was actually a surprise. It was one that I did not think was gonna work out, but it did. So I kind of just put corporate, which, how boring is that? And I started, but it was interesting because I could kind of feel my own bias coming through. So as I was starting to write, I was just kind of like, I have a job, it's safe-ish, I'm in marketing, but it's just like kind of like super fucking boring. And I was like, after the first few sentences, I kind of had this moment where I was like, okay, let's not sell this short. Like we're going into this with like a really narrow definition of what this could be, or experience of what this could be. Like, what if you had your ideal kind of corporate or professional scenario? Like, what does that look like? Like, if we're making shit up, like let's do it. Like, let's go all the way. Once I kind of changed my mind on that and opened up the idea of what this could be, then I started to really fall in love with it, which was plot twist. I was like, oh, okay. I don't have to be such a closed-minded, like, ugh, I don't want to do that. Like, no, maybe there is an avenue where I do it, and it's just a matter of operating in a world or in a context different than what I've known. That's fair. What I thought was interesting is I can't remember what my top 5 values were. I have them written down, so I'm gonna refer back to them, but I don't know them off the top of my head. But what I did for the corporate job and then owning the bed and breakfast, I went through and I just like started to highlight trends, patterns between the two. Whether it's a corporate job or a bed and breakfast, it's like about connecting with people in community, collaboration, like not working completely on my own in an isolated way. I want to work with other people. Good to know. Authenticity, like spending my time doing work that I enjoy or think is actually important in this world. The commonality was creativity. With the bed and breakfast, I saw creativity really coming through and like how the space is designed, how guests feel when they are in the space. With the corporate job, it was interesting because it's more about like creativity in terms of problem solving. How are we reimagining the way we approach those challenges or those problems? So kind of realizing that creativity can exist in different ways depending on the job. Two things that came up were like adventure, so and freedom. I would almost like put them together. So yes, there being like some element of routine, consistent things that are part of either of those pathways, but that both of them gave me the opportunity for spontaneity, for exploration, because I have the freedom to do that with, I have the energy, the time, and the financial resources to do that. So we aren't ending this episode with any, brilliant breakthroughs, but I'm realizing this process is going to be more of a marathon and less of a sprint. So in lieu of clarity, I wanted to leave you with some photos and videos from the bed and breakfast in Lucca so you could see how beautiful it really is. Thanks for being here. Love ya. Bye.